Okay, so let's get started on how I made my applique templates for the Hawaiian quilt. So I started off with a regular sheet of paper. But you need to have a square when you do your template, and a regular sheet of paper is a 8 by 11 or something like that. But to get rid of that extra, I take one corner of the paper and I line it up to the other side till it creates a crease. Not a crease. Till it creates a triangle. And then I'm going to put a crease in the paper like so. So this extra, this here, the triangle portion would make my square. This extra portion here will actually get cut off, like in this sample that I have here. So this extra part here is what I'm going to cut off. Once that extra is cut off, you are left with a nice little square, and you will still have this crease here, which ignore, you'll end up coming back to that later. So now we need to make a nice little square section to, is it a square? Like a little triangle. We need to get to that to make our design. Think of this as a snowflake. But what we're going to do is we're going to fold our paper in half, hot dog style, like so. And then you're going to fold that in half, think hamburger style. And I think this measured out to be 8.5 once it's spread out again. Or the square as a whole ended up being like 8.5. But I digress. And then we're going to, this little line that you had before from our original folding and getting rid of that excess, you're actually going to end up folding on that this time. So you are left with this little cute triangle, and you want to have the open sides here and the point here. Now, don't make the mistake I did when I was practicing and cut off this point here, because then you're just going to have a bunch of pieces everywhere. You want this to stay connected. So the point that's together, don't cut that. You can cut this open bit. Okay. Now that you have this, and for me, I like to have the bit that I'm not supposed to cut off down here, you can sketch your design. So I'm going to sketch a design real quick. I have my paper scissors here. And I am going to just do one. There's no rhyme or reason to this. I'm just doing lines. You can have something fancy for you later on. I mean, once you plan this out. And then I'm going to cut this design out. Now, when I did my actual quilt, I was a lot more precise and careful than this. But this is just a demo. Okay. And here. So let's throw this away. Oh, you could actually use that for extra, I guess, if you wanted to. In my design, I didn't. So now we have this, and we're just going to open it up. You see it went from our weird little section to now a little tree. Open up again. So now we have two little points here, and open up there. And you would, this is your design. Now for paper, because, and I'm going to fold this back. Try to remember how I had it. Okay, how was this? There we go. Okay. This is how I cut it. But when you have applique interfacing backing, like this, and your actual fabric together, when you have them together, it makes it even thicker. So you won't be able to have that little triangle in the beginning to trace this. You will end up having blocks like this. So this is a block that's ready for the template. So I'm going to, rather than have it like this, because this isn't the triangle that we originally had, I'm going to open it up to the half section like this. And then trace out my design. And once that's traced, I cut that out. So for my quilt that you saw, this was one design. And this was the second design. So I had both of these, both of these, or if it's opened up, I have both of these as my patterns for my quilt. If you followed me on Instagram or TikTok, you already saw how I created these. So yeah, follow me on all the social medias as Eccentric Quilter, and you will see how I do the behind the little bits of it.